I think it's working to a degree, yeah. I think we've still got some points we need to iron out. But yeah, albeit I've come out in the wrong end of some decisions of late, I think I'm fairly happy, but I think we're still needing to watch VAR is not refereeing the games, and it's the referees that are refereeing the games, to be honest. I think there's a bit of a lag in the decision times, so I think we just need to iron that out. But again, there was always going to be teething problems early on, so I'm still fairly positive. I don't know, I think we've just got to get decision times a lot quicker than probably what they are. I think we've got to make sure we're only using it for game changing obvious refereeing errors, whereas I think sometimes it's not an obvious refereeing error and we're referring to VAR, so it's kind of taking the momentum from the game. So for me, I think we will get there with it. If you look at probably the English Premier League now, it's a lot quicker in terms of this time last year, so you can see that they've got up to speed with it a little bit more, so I think that will come with time and with Scotland as well. To be fair, the fourth official, at any time I've ever asked him, has always kept me up to date, so I'm fairly happy with my communication in terms of me and what's going on, because I think the fourth officials generally try to do their best to keep you informed. You look at Livingston, the stadium we got, it's very, very difficult for us to relay most things to the fans that either via screens, albeit we have got a matchday announcer who's trying to give that information off as quick as possible. No doubt it's something we can get better at. I don't know how it works perfectly at other clubs, but I know from our club point of view, we could try and get the message across to the fans a little bit quicker, but that depends on how and when we're getting that message also. Yeah, but again, no doubt there's a financial cost to that, and I think we've got to be very wary. I know the bigger clubs that have got a wee bit more money than ourselves, that's okay to implement and improve. We've took the hit with VAR, as every club has, but it's a lot of money out of our budget. So for me, when the VAR came in, originally I was worried about this was going to grow arms and legs, and the ongoing running costs were going to...
That might happen. There might be...
What's that, Brian? We'll go for a squad of 20, a squad of 12. I just worried about the exponential growth of VAR and how much it was going to cost clubs. So yeah, I think there's ways we can improve it, but I think we've got to be very, very careful that it's no growing arms and legs in terms of financial costs. Since we came back, we had obviously a difficult away game at Celtic, where I think we performed reasonably well. Then we went to Easter Road and we were down to 10 men, so very, very difficult to judge the boys too harsh on that one when you're playing. I think it was including the extra time, 85 minutes with 10 men, so that was difficult, albeit we should have performed better than what we did in terms of the scoreline. And then we come into the St Mirren game at home and Pittman's off the park in about 10 minutes, so 10 men again. Very, very difficult. We managed to pick a point up, and then obviously we kept 11 men on the park against Motherwell. It's a fairly tight game. I think there wasn't a lot in the game. Did we perform well? Probably not. But again, I can't always expect the boys to go out and perform well. So we picked a point up. Wasn't a great performance, wasn't a terrible performance, but we still managed to pick a point up, and I had to reflect on it after the game. We moved up from 7th to 6th place, so we're in the top 6, and if you'd said to me 3-4 games ago you're still going to be in the top 6 at this stage in the season, will you take that? Yeah, but again, I'm a wee bit greedy, I'm a wee bit ambitious. I think we could be sitting further, well, probably 4th in the league if we'd done my job a little bit better. Now, in terms of Ross County being at the bottom, yeah, potentially, but I've been very vocal on this. I think for 3rd to 12 there's going to be a lot of movement this year. I don't think there's, if you look at 4th place, maybe Hearts have kind of picked a few points up and opened a slight gap up now, but if you look at 4th place to 12th place, there's nothing in it. Yeah, there's a few points here and there, but I don't think there's anything in it in terms of playing wise and club wise, so I'd be a brave man that predict 4th downwards, if I'm honest, at this stage in the season. So I can see that changing. Maybe not dramatically, but I can definitely see that changing over the course of the coming months, because I don't think there's anything between the teams between 4th and 12th. The Motherwell game is a different type of game. The conditions were very, very quick. It was a very firm park. It was a frost on the park, so playing pretty football really wasn't on the cards at times. It was more about spinning it and turning it and making the opposition defend. I think Motherwell done that better than us on the day. We've still got to do a wee bit better in the final third, but again, I don't read into the Ross County game taking into account the Motherwell game. I don't really work like that. So we're going up to Ross County, who are at the bottom of the table fighting for survival. We're away from home, so it's two totally different types of games. We're going into two totally different teams, so I just know on our day, if we go up there and we perform to the best of our abilities, we should take something from the game. But Malky will be sitting telling his players the exact same thing as what I'm telling my players, so there's not going to be a lot in the game, I wouldn't imagine. I think every away game's tough. I know even every away game, every game in the Premier League's tough. You've got no divine right to go out and win. I don't think I've ever had a game in the Premier League where you go, a bit easier this week. It doesn't work like that for me. We're all much of a muchness for fourth place down at this point, maybe even third place down, but probably more so fourth place down. I don't think there's anything between the teams, and it's about how you go out and perform on that day. And let's be honest, there's some decisions via VAR that can have a huge influence on the game now that we have got the technology to look back at incidents. So that is having game-changing results. Some of the decisions that VAR's making, I'm not saying the decisions are wrong, but we're now we've got the technology to look back. So there's different variables, a host of different variables that can change the outcome of a game. He's in the building today, he's got his English language test tomorrow, he's got his Home Office interview on the 10th, so I'd be pretty confident, I think, by mid-January we should have Lucas available for first team selection. Joel's okay, he's came on leaps and bounds this week, to be fair. So really positive with Joel. A wee bit disappointed because we've not been a million miles away from Joel returning to first team training. Just that last wee bit, but we seem to have overcome that hurdle in the last 2 or 3 days, but probably going to be very tentative on his return. So it'll be probably next week before I can give you more of an update, but it's been very positive this week. Curtis Guthrie's maybe a week away. Tom Parks has stepped up his rehab programme. Jamie Brandon's going to be running soon, so there's not really anything short term, and what I mean by that other than Joel in the next 7 to 10 days that I can tell you. But Curtis is no a million miles away, and Tom Parks and his progression really well. Really happy with Tom Parks' progression. Depending if my door goes or my phone goes, and it's a no-brainer, but no, not really. I'm fairly happy with it. Probably 1 or 2 going to be moving on the other way, going out and loan to get some game time, to get some much needed game time. Once we've got Curtis is back short term in the next 7 to 10 days. Joel should be in the next maybe 3 to 7 days. Then you've got Pittman and Holt returning to the squad. Fingers crossed you can keep a healthy squad. There's going to be boys probably chasing game time, and you can only strip 20. And you can only play 5 of the subs, so there's going to be boys needing to get out and loan for their own careers more so than Livingston.